Bada boom, bada bang, bada bob. We are back today with the Asics Glideride Max RIP. We are going to eulogize this thing. It was a victim of fratricide. You don't know what fratricide is? It's brother killing brother, aka in this case stack on stack crime, because the Sonicblast is coming through soon and is wiping out this thing. At least that's what we can surmise from everything Asics is doing with the product positioning. So we're gonna take this out for some recovery miles today. If you are looking for a new max cushion shoe or recovery shoe, you might wanna give this one a look. You also might wanna check out the Supwell app. It's my app and it's the best buy, sell, and trade marketplace out there. I actually have seen a lot of these going up for sale on the app because some people like them, some people don't. It's a polarizing shoe, but here's how the app works. People sign up, they have a shoe like this, they put a few runs on it, it doesn't work for them, so they list it well below MSRP. We also have people who get a new shoe, maybe they got it for Christmas and they've been saving it and they don't want to use it, so they'll also list it well below MSRP and pass along a deal to a hobby jogger. So if you're looking to save money on running shoes or join the best gosh dang running community out there, help you be accountable, focused, get after your goals, see people stacking mileage daily, get in with us and enjoy today's video. Can I grab my shoes? Okay, cool. Yeah. Woo! Humidity, man. Oh gosh, dude. This is just madness, man. This humidity. It's just absolute madness. You just step out here and you get smoked by the humidity. So, few updates here. It's Friday, finally Friday in Mint Hill. I'm feeling okay, not feeling great. But first update is the AirPods. So I know everyone was waiting with bated breath on what would happen with the left AirPod after it fell into the pile of sweat on the treadmill. And here's the thing, with the treadmill, you know how there's cup holders on each side and in the middle they have a compartment for your phone? I was sweating so much that the cup holder on the left side, and it was tilted back like this. Now imagine I'm on the Z axis right now, so we're looking at the treadmill from the side. The cup holder is tilted back so that your bottle has a nice area to rest like so, and so there's this crevice on the bottom, 90-degree angle, and all my sweat from that mile repeat workout was just there. And when I got off the treadmill and I was talking to this guy, he was a very nice older gentleman. I let him into the gym because he didn't know that they had changed ownership. So he was trying to get in with the magical app lock with his old key card. And I said, bro, you got banged in a tough spot. I was in the same spot as you last week. I was trying to get in here. I didn't know how to do the app, all that. I had to update the phone. Now it's janky, so I just let him in. But I didn't talk to him when I let him in because it was in the middle of one of my rests on the workout, and I was trying to do 1-minute rests only. So then after the workout, I was talking to him. I was filming my stats. I took the left AirPod out, bang, right into that pile of sweat, or puddle of sweat, as some may say. So I tried to do some oatmeal. We didn't have rice. Put it in the oatmeal for almost 24 hours now. I guess it would be about 20 hours. No luck. No dice. So availability is the best ability, and I found AirPod Pro 2s on Amazon for $170, and they were same day delivery. So unfortunately I did the terrible millennial we need things now thing, and I ordered the Amazon Apple product because I'm in the Apple ecosystem and I need my headphone replacement immediately. So that's that. I might also try to get a different type of headphones for the treadmill. Thank you to everyone who gave me suggestions. My guy Sergio recommended Power Beats Pro. Somebody else recommended something else. I might keep the AirPods just for work. I like having these for my work computer, also for editing, just because they connect super easily to the MacBook. So maybe I'll try one of your other things. All right, other updates. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, Friday. I'm feeling pretty smashed, man. I'm in the middle of this just gauntlet session right now, or not even, what would you call it, a microcycle, a mesocycle of training, a few weeks where I've cranked the volume way up to 120 miles per week. I'm just trying to hang on. I'm trying to hang on with quality long runs in one workout per week. Yesterday I did mile repeats on the treadmill in sub 5:10, which is the fastest I've ever run in my entire life, and felt pretty decent. Today I could feel my calves are worked and everything, but this is how we're supposed to feel, baby. So more recovery mileage. Gonna do another relatively big mileage day today, and I thought it would be a fun revisit here with the Glideride Max. My friend Maya actually recommended this because Asics this week dropped or released news of the Sonicblast and the Megablast. And as we know, man, their lineup is already so crowded. Even without the Sonicblast and the Megablast, you have this, you have the Nimbus, you have the Novablast, you have the Superblast, you have the Magic Speed. So many training shoes. You have the S4 Plus, right? So many training shoes. And then also their race lineup is crowded too. You have the Edge, you have the Sky, and you have the Ray. The Sky for me is already so good, so I have no idea how the Ray would even improve it. But what this thing is, Glideride Max, it's a max cushion cruiser. I actually really liked it. I'm guessing they're killing it off now with the Sonicblast and the Megablast. I just don't know where this would fit in the lineup. Also, if you look at the Nimbus, let me go grab some of these shoes I'm talking about. Keep forgetting my mother-in-law is in here, so I'm just barging into my office, which is also the guest bedroom, and she's working in there. I was like, oh, ah. Yeah, people asked me, someone had a comment yesterday, why don't you have a treadmill in your house? I have thought about that, believe it or not, the concept of buying a treadmill to put in my house. We just don't have anywhere to put it. So I actually did get a quote recently to build an addition office. Dude, stuff is just expensive. So I'm not sure if we're going to do that. That would give me more space to get the office out of the house and convert the carport into a space for me. And I could put a treadmill in there. I could have my shoes in there. I don't know, bro. Everything just costs a lot of money. And then with the current setup, I was actually seeing, was it Floberg or somebody running on the, I forget who it was. I was watching a video of somebody running on a treadmill that was super quiet, the Wahoo. So that made me think maybe I could put a treadmill in here, but with how loud the gym style treadmills are, there's no way I could put one in my office in here because it is just clump, 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 clump. I don't need that in the house with 3 children, a wife who's already dubious about my activities, and then I'm just coming in here stomping and clumping at various hours of the day. Nah. Anyway, look at these Asics shoes, man. So these are the two that are the most similar, the Nimbus and the Glideride Max. The upper, the midsole design, the geometry, they're identical, man. If you look at that, the main difference is you get the top layer of FF Blast Max here on the Glideride Max. So it's like they took the top of the Novablast and smashed it onto the Nimbus here. I have not found too many differences running in these shoes. I think I actually might prefer the Nimbus, though, over the Glideride Max. It feels slightly less mushy to me, but both are good. So this is the main reason why, for me, the Glideride Max never quite took off. It was just not differentiated enough from the rest of the Asics lineup, and I think people are also confused about its position in the market because you have this more standard foam on the bottom, you have a slightly more exciting training foam on the top, and then you have this really flimsy plate in here. It's not an aggressive plate at all. It doesn't feel like a plated shoe. But in a shoe like this, which is not an aggressive speed training shoe, oh, you want to know what the aggressive Asics speed training shoe is? Because they certainly have one. That would be the Magic Speed 4, right? So this has a very stiff carbon fiber plate. This has race foam up in the forefoot. This is not the relaxed long run or marathon shoe. That would be the S4 Plus. There's just so many shoes, right? But with the plate in here, with the softer foam, with a more comfortable feel, it has a little bit of everything, which made it a really fun shoe for me, and I've enjoyed all my miles in it. It's just, I think consumers in general and hobby joggers are looking for their shoes more to either have that reliability, standard feel, get out of the way, or to provide the ultimate in comfort or the ultimate in speed. This is some of everything, and then they're also calling it the Glideride Max, which doesn't telegraph anything that it's doing, so it seems that the replacement for it is going to be the Sonicblast, which is going to have a very similar setup as this, dual foam with a plate in the middle, and they're positioning it more as the elevated version of the Novablast. So it's marketing in a way, right? Because they could have called it the Glideride Max too, but the Novablast franchise just has so much brand equity that they want to tap into that. It makes sense. This is part of what my firm does in my 9 to 5, naming strategy, product architecture, brand architecture. So you want to leverage the properties of your portfolio that are the strongest. It's the opposite of what Nike has done with the Vomero. Nobody cared about the Vomero, and then they tried to make a whole franchise out of it. I mean, people are loving the Vomero Plus now, but they should have just kept that as the Invincible, right? That would have made a lot more sense. So Asics has understood how much brand equity they have in these Blast shoes with the Novablast and their Super Blast, and they're leveraging that to bring more products to market. So plan for today, I just want to get some miles in the Glideride Max. I do think this is a sleeper shoe. I remember it through all my miles here just being very comfortable, easy to run in, nice rocker, decent bounce, nothing offensive about it at all. It also is super max stack, man. It's above 42 millimeters in the heel, decently lightweight. Let me actually go grab the scale. I think it's around 300. Yeah, let me see. Oh, the other update from yesterday. I was just reminded about this because I was thinking in my head, should I play music? No, I shouldn't play music for this. We're just going to keep it rolling. But the other update I was talking so much about getting demonetized and how the music in the gym will get me demonetized because copyright music. So I was throwing non-copyright music over the copyright music, and guess what? The non-copyright music that I picked yesterday turned out to be copyright music. So my entire video was not monetized. That was a huge L. And you know why that happens? Behind the scenes here. Because the way I find these beats, people always ask me, where do you find your instrumentals? I go digging in the crates for copyright-free, free-for-profit music. But what will happen sometimes is producers put out these free-for-profit beats, and then rappers or other organizations will take them and they'll throw a content ID and they'll copyright them themselves. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to let these beats and instrumentals that are public domain and that the producers put out as free for profit, you're supposed to let them be free for profit. But some people don't play by the rules, and then that turns out that I get banged. So I got banged yesterday. That video was not monetized. It was because I tried to cover the copyright music with non-copyright music, and it was all a mess. You know, it's not a mess. The weight of the Asics Glideride Max, 302.6 grams. That's light for what it is, and if you take a look at the Nimbus, this is 318 grams. So it's just a good example here of how much brands are trying to slice and dice their portfolios in the market, and Asics is the worst offender of this, even though they are such a great brand. And from top to bottom, all these shoes that I brought out are really good. There's not one here that's a terrible shoe. I don't love the Super Blast, but a lot of people do. So more options for me isn't necessarily a bad thing, but people have to buy them for the brands to keep doing it. And I just think there's not enough daylight between these two shoes in particular. So it makes sense for me that they're repositioning the Glideride Max as the Sonicblast, or at least deprioritizing the Glideride Max and offering something different. But let's give it one good mileage sesh today and see how it does. I don't even know. This is just word soup, man. I'm tired. It's called high mileage brain. You know what I was thinking about, though? Last thing I'll say before we lace it up. This has just been an absolute grind, just with the kids and everything, the job. And people always say, how do you do everything? It's super hard. I'm just pushing myself. But the thing is, if it's hard in one area of life, you might as well make it hard in all the other areas of life, right? If you're going to have a... Bro, what the... Is that Amazon? Sometimes Amazon will just... Yeah, it is Amazon, man. They just come ripping up the driveway. It makes me nervous because we have the kids playing and everything. They really need to chill out with that. How do I politely tell them not to do that? And it's always different people is the thing. Hey. Hey, I can't get too mad. He's just on his grind trying to run his paper up to his deliveries as fast as possible, but it just makes me nervous with the kids playing and everything. Should I put speed bumps in the driveway? It's probably another $50,000 right there, man. Everything's at least, this is what I learned as an adult, everything's at least $1,000. If you want to do something to your house, it's at least $10,000. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, last thing I was going to say, just everything is a grind in life, but I think you should just pile all the grind together. What am I trying to do right now? Just get better and work. I'm not going to go off to a golf trip with the boys, right? So just make everything, if you have a kid, if you have multiple kids, if you have a young family, just pile it on. Just do the marathon training. Just put yourself through the gauntlet. And then when you're out of that phase, this is my plan. When I'm 50, when I'm 47, I'm going to be sipping Bordeaux in Bordeaux. I'm going to be drinking champagne in Champagne, right? I'm not going to be training for marathons and trying to up your best. I'm going to be trying to lower my stress levels at that point. So right now, we crank the stress up to the max. We go through the grind factory, and then we come out on the other side, and I might be messing around in Tahiti, drinking Tahitian cocktails. You know what I mean? But we have to wait for that because there's a lot of difficulties to get through. All right, let's lace this thing up. Sipping Bordeaux out in Bordeaux. It's actually a Jay-Z line. Gotta make sure we attribute our sources properly. It's from the song Devil is a Lie by Rick Ross. All these shoes remind me of something, either the first time I ran in them or a big workout. For these, it's the first time I ran in them. It was my birthday trip last year. And I know I was just talking about not going on trips and golf trips with the boys. This is my birthday trip with the family to the mountains. Every year for my birthday in September, for the past, 5 years now, 6, it might be 6 years now, we've gone to the Pisgah Forest in the North Carolina mountains. Beautiful place. The Pisgah Forest used to be the Vanderbilt family's private land. Crazy because it's huge. It's like the Dutton Ranch. But every year we go over there. And last year I was on that ShoeTube grind, so I did a first run review of this while we were out there. I don't know if I'm going to do that this year. Maybe I'll try to pre-record some videos so I don't ruin my birthday trip. Or maybe I'll try to get some trail runs in the actual mountains. That could be cool. Although no one seems interested in trail running. But yeah, this reminds me of that trip. So it's fun to always have memories associated with these shoes. Very comfortable shoe. I actually called these the Jet Life shoes because also reminds me of that Currency mixtape that came out at the time, or the album with DJ Fresh, one of the most underrated albums in his discography. And I think that was actually one of my top 3 most played albums of last year. So go ahead and check that out if you haven't. Anyway, step in, feel these. Highly cushioned, comfortable. The rocker is just super nice with this roll here. Overall, just a nice shoe. The step and feel this fantastic. It feels like a more dialed Nimbus, just a slightly more streamlined Nimbus, somewhere between the Magic Speed 4 and the Nimbus. So let's do a walk test. Yeah, dude, so comfortable. I could totally walk in these. These might be an awesome walking shoe after we retire it from running duty. I don't love the colorway, though. That's the one thing with the shoe as well. They never quite nailed it with the design. Something about the 3 or 4 different colors and just the random green accents don't do it. But the feel is so nice. The soft top layer with the firm bottom layer, plus the big rocker, just so cushioned and comfortable. Really feels like I could go for a 4-hour walk in these. That might be the best use case of that. But plan for this morning, it's Friday. I'm going to do a nice longer recovery run this morning. Just nice gentle time on feet. Just have some fun in the Glideride Max. Let's do it. All right, let's go. Another day, another mileage. Oh, gosh, creaky, man. So I'm getting a later start today, and that heat is ramping up. I knew the summer wasn't over, but I thought, part of me thought it was. I knew it wasn't logically, but I still thought it was. Oh, this recovery is gonna be recovery today. These are great though, man. Light, peppy, bouncy. They compress down a lot. They have that nice and soft heel feel that I like in a relaxed shoe. And they're not putting me in an aggressive stance like the Vomero Plus. Oh man, this is a slog. Alright, just gonna see if I can zone out and clip a few miles off. One way I try to think about the heat is I'm gonna run 10 to 12 miles this morning, no matter what. And if I do it in the heat, I'm just getting an extra training stimulus. So it's a bonus. I don't know. At least we have some blue skies this morning though. Morning. This might not be a crazy banger or the best deal or look the coolest, but it's one of these shoes that's just nice to run in. Whenever I run in this shoe, it's just enjoyable. It's very easy to run in. Good rocker, good impact absorption, nice bounce. Nothing objectionable about it. I really like it. Definitely fits into that solid to pretty good tier. Mile 1, 8:45. Crawling today, man. This is nice though. I really can't believe they killed this shoe. Stack on stack crime. Man, I'm such a hypocrite. Ordering things on Amazon for the instant delivery and then complaining about how the delivery drivers drive. Just despicable. I apologize. That's some true Karen behavior. I'm gonna learn from my mistakes and get better. The one thing that always blows my mind about the pros is their heart rate on relax runs. You look at Connor Mance, he's running a 640 pace at a 116 heart rate. And it's because of the years and years and years of aerobic development. Running is literally like walking to some of these guys. They have walked or ran, they've run more miles in their lives than some of us have walked, which is just wild. And that's why you'll see that. So for me, and even if I run 5,000 miles a year for 3 or 4 years, it's like my heart rate on these everyday paces still gonna be in the 130s. That's the difference with these guys. They've just been
at it for so long. So if you think about genetic ceiling for potential, that's there for sure. But then there's also, it's almost a floor that's built. The floor just raises and raises and raises. The more mileage you stack, the higher that floor is. And for the guys who've been at it for 20 years, that's a very high floor. And to be at the top of the top, like a Connor Mantz or a John Courier, you gotta have a high genetic ceiling. So be born with the traits. You gotta have a high floor, put in a lot of work over years, and then you gotta have a high pain tolerance and work ethic to just grind. And for the rest of us, if we can have 2 out of 3 of those things, I think that's the majority of us who stick with running. We build that floor over time, and that's how we see the year-over-year improvements, just laying those bricks, stacking the work. And that pain tolerance is there. For the people who stick with it, and especially with the marathon and the half marathon, it's not even acute pain. It's the ability to endure a 5 out of 10 pain, a 6 out of 10 pain for months and live in that. Those are the ones who stick with endurance sports into adulthood. Because there's no fame and glory in this beyond a few kudos you might get. And I think there's a fourth or a fifth variable for people who go into ultras. You just gotta have something wrong with you, or something, some sort of traumatic experience you're trying to run off. I don't know, man. I've had some stuff happen to me in my life that's not great, but I think I'm too happy generally now to really do an ultra. I don't have that deep pain and suffering needed to endure it. So I'm gonna stick with the marathon with my decent genetic ceiling, pretty low floor, because I've only been doing it for 5 years, and high pain tolerance for the type of pain that is required in the marathon. And I always feel bad because it's a lady with a walker on oxygen, but her dog is just so yappy to me. And then there's always another lady who comes walking right down here, similar sized dog and everything, and she smiles at me, and her dog doesn't yap. And there's another one on my street, same deal, same size, some sort of Yorkie or something, doesn't yap at me. So it's just that dog. Little do they know, I'm a yap back. Yap on yap crime. Yeah, here are my 2 theories with the ultra. You either have to have something seriously messed up, either that happened in your life or just in your brain, it's off. Or on the other side, there's too little that's wrong with you in your life. I was talking to my friend Jim about this. I was saying, if you look around, man, it's a lot of these very happy 45-year-old men who are probably moderately to highly successful in their career. Their kids are in school, they live in decent neighborhoods, and they just don't have enough wrong in their lives. So you got to seek out some suffering. Because you're not going to see a single mom trying to put food on the table who then is going to go run a 100-mile ultra. No, because her life already has enough difficulty and struggle. So if you don't have enough difficulty and struggle, boom, ultra. But I actually think that's an untapped market, because the single moms, they have that ultra mindset just built in. Bro, I'm gonna grind no matter what. I have to put food on the table for my kids. We gotta let them know we're not stopping. We'll take 2 jobs, we'll take 3 jobs. I know how that goes, man. So maybe I'll start a single mom ultra team. I guess we can't call it that because that acronym would be smut, but we'll call it something else. And we'll just be rocking. We'll just be rocking all the 45-year-old dudes, just crushing them. So if you're a single mom and you ever thought about running ultra, let me know. I've really been trying to reach a different demographic with the channel recently. Maybe this is the way. You look at the analytics, YouTube, Instagram, 97.3% men. Like, what am I doing, man? That's why I've been trying to incorporate more lowercase into my titles. I do the uppercase, all caps in the beginning, but then the back half of the titles, you notice past 2 days, lowercase. It's not all aggressive energy here. Mile 3, 8:18 pace. Man, there is nothing better than a blue sky day in Mint Hill. It's just hitting. And yeah, I'd be totally happy with this shoe as my one max cushion cruiser. I think that's the criteria for pretty good. This is the thing that gets me about the hype cycle sometimes. And I'm not saying this is the best shoe in the world, but if you just look at the Vomero Plus, the criticisms of that shoe, that it has a 10mm drop, it's not soft enough, and it's not stable. This has a lower drop, it's soft, and the stability is pretty good. It's like these shoes exist already, the ones you're looking for. So if you don't like that about the Vomero Plus, there's so many other options. I'm picking up the pace some on this downhill. Not very fast, but 7:30 pace versus 8:30. And this forefoot, really nice toe off. Man, great bounce. The FF Blast Max is super nice. And one of the good things about the construction here is that I know a lot of people thought the Blast Max was too soft in the Novablast. With the firmer layer of the standard Blast below, is perfect. Goldilocks. This is exactly what I needed this morning. Definitely giving my legs some extra pop. I think I might make a full video on this topic, but I think in general, people put too much emphasis on individual workouts and not sequencing and the totality of training. Think about the body of work. Just think about my workout yesterday. Only reason I went 6 by 1 mile is because I went 3 by 1 mile first. And then I went 8 by 1 kilometer. progression. That's everything, man. Look at someone like Joaquin Labrisa, though. He had to fire his dad as coach. I think he might have even sued him or something. I don't think they're on good terms, he and his two brothers, for having just ridiculous training when he was a kid. But and that's all the way on the most excessive end. You don't need to be doing borderline abusive training on the track. But for someone like him or a Connor Mance, it's the sequencing and the progression over years that gets them to where they are. And so it's the same thing on a minor scale of progressing workouts over weeks. But it holds even more true over the course of years. Building. If you listen closely, you can hear the sound. It's the sound of mileage. I remember when I first ran in the shoe last year, it reminded me so much of the Speed 3. It really does feel like a taller, more relaxed version of that. So if you like the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3 or Speed 5 as a daily, you will love this as a max cushion shoe. Similar rocker and bounce. Somebody recommended that I start running fasted. I don't know if people know this. I don't think so. I did intermittent fasting for 2 years. 2 years. From noon to 8, that was my eating window. And I was extremely strict with it. I've really been on this health and fitness grind for a while. And it was good at the time, but I was running probably 3 times a week, doing body weight exercises. Now, my workload is just so much higher that it makes no sense to restrict calories. I need to eat before runs, not so much to fuel the run itself, but to ensure that I'm hitting my daily goal. Because if I can get 400 to 800 calories in the morning, I mean, that's 10, 15, 20% of my daily goals that I'm hitting, versus not eating, that I'm just in a 10 to 20% deficit after my run. Also, I'm 6'2", 155 pounds on a good day, so I'm not trying to lose any weight. You plug that into a BMI calculator, that is all the way on the lightest end of healthy weights. And I feel very healthy. I'm not underweight, but if I drop to 147, 148, that's just not enough meat on these bones. So for me personally, I don't do fasted running. And I also just find my run performances, especially with long runs, are way better. I mean, this morning I'm gonna go 10 to 12 miles. For a lot of people out there, that's your long run length. So I'm basically running a long run every day. I gotta fuel the beast for that. And the other benefit of fasted running or intermittent fasting from a running standpoint would be glycogen storage. So teaching your body how to conserve carbs. With the number of miles that I run, I'm already doing that. Also, with the number of doubles that I run, I'm already doing that. I'm often burning up all the glycogen and then running again in the afternoon. If you hear me say, oh man, that was a terrible refuel today, I was feeling it out there, I was sluggish, that's pseudo getting the benefits of a fasted run. But my whole philosophy with this is, the more mileage you run, the less you have to resort to hacks and tricks, and the more you can just rely on common sense, man. Just run a lot of miles, get after it in training, push your body, fuel hard, sleep, and that's how you become a beast. I really woke up today trying to teach something, preach something. Gosh dang, I'm out here trying to reach someone. Let's go. Somebody was asking me for my top 5 rappers of all time. Now, I was born in '95, so my knowledge and enjoyment of music really starts in the early 2000s. So for impact, influence, and who I've just enjoyed the most, especially in my formative years, as they say, Kanye, Drake, Jay-Z, curveball here, but Prodigy from Mobb Deep, discovered later in life, only the last few years, but just in terms of his flows, the subject matter, the creativity, the way he comes in and out of the beats, just next level. And he's even influenced people like Future, and I'll round up my top 5. Future, and it's probably a top 6. I think you got to throw Jeezy in there too. And don't be coming up in here with that Drake's not a rapper, blah blah blah. Bro, if you're coming up in here with that, I just want to apologize to you for probably having a sad high school experience. And if that's how you're taking it out by tearing Drake down, I can understand. I was living life in high school. I peaked in high school. I love Drake. And somebody might say, no, Kendrick, that's crazy, bro. But in terms of what he did, his influence, I don't know, you can't really see his fingerprints on the rap game anywhere outside of maybe JID. Is it JID or JID? Somebody told me recently it was JID. But yeah, Kendrick's influence just isn't there. He's an excellent rapper. In terms of pure rap skill, just lyricism, that would be a different list altogether. But Kendrick doesn't do it for me in terms of top 5, top 6. I would even throw Chief Keef in at 7 above Kendrick for that top list of influence, inspiration in my lifetime. And man, I can't believe I left off Lil Wayne. That's disrespectful. So there you go. You probably have to put Lil Wayne above Jeezy, or maybe even above Prodigy. But yeah, I can't believe that was, I'm sorry. And I responded in a comment to this guy, and I left off Wayne. I'm gonna have to say I forgot Wheezy. Sorry, Wayne. So yeah, that would be the top 8. Wayne, Jeezy, Future, Chief Keef, Drake, Jay-Z, Kanye, Prodigy. And then Currency is just my personal favorite rapper. And Larry June, of course. So that would be the top 10. It's just hard with Currency because he doesn't have the mainstream appeal and the hits. But his catalog is so deep. And then just the hunger. Also, he's an extremely technically proficient rapper. He gets slept on because he has a New Orleans drawl, but he can really rap. So he would have to go in the top 10. And he's one on my personal list of favorites right now. He, Boldy James, and Larry June. But that's just a different list entirely. Kendrick will go on the NPR rappers top 5. Number 1, Kendrick. Number 2, Doechii. Number 3, Killer Mike. Number 4, Macklemore. Number 5, Nas. And I'm sorry, I know that's gonna let a lot of the old heads down. Nas got to round out the NPR top rapper list. It's like with the shoes though, man. These things are so personal and it's different era to era. I've never listened to a KRS-One song in my life. Similarly, I know some of these young bucks probably have Yeet in their top 5 or Cardi. And that's why I put Chief Keef in mine, because, or at least in my top 10, not my 5, because there's no Yeet, Cardi, or Uzi, or Travis Scott without Chief Keef. And they also have borrowed a lot from Kanye and Drake, so it's just different, man. Just like the Super Blast, it's not going in my top 5. Oh man, running out on the main road is tough. You got the wind, the heat, the cars. Two and a half to go. Do I look like I'm in the military? This guy just passed me jogging. He was actually in SCLE V5s and he said, Marines, Marines. At least I think that's what he said. Maybe my tats look like they're Marine inspired. I don't know. Mile 10. I'm super hungry. That's why I don't do fasted running. I don't run fasted. I run fast. A lot of boys out here doing strategic starvation, trying to get faster. Up your mileage, bucko. No, in all seriousness, man, unless you're running sub 220 in the marathon, I guarantee you there's a better change you can make than restricting calories to get faster. Up in the mileage, sleeping better, maybe changing the quality of the calories, eliminating alcohol. That's a huge one. But there's so many things to do before skipping meals. If your goal is to get faster, if your goal is weight loss, that's a different story entirely. And that is not my realm. Finally turning back into the neighborhood here. The main road is just brutal. There's no shade. Also, people who run with the video on, they always tell me they think a car is coming for them whenever a car comes, so I apologize. But I was thinking, what's the best RIP song? There's the Drake reference track for Rita Ora. Remember that one? R.I.P. to the girl you used to be. Those days are over. And then there's the, is it YG and Jeezy? R.I.P. we just killed the club. Patrolling to the head and almost killed a thug. There's gotta be more. There's a Lucky song titled R.I.P. I think the R.I.P. almost killed the club is a good one. We could do a Supwell remix. Mileage to the head almost killed the slug. I lied. We're getting 14. Last mile here, 13 and a half. Boom, mile 14, 7:53 pace. Honestly feel like I could go one more, but that's just hero behavior. Save it. Somebody named Ricardo sent me a pack overnight via FedEx from Atlanta. I have no idea what that is. Am I getting served? I think if you're getting served, somebody has to hand it to you, right? That is sketchy. That is sketchy for sure. All right, man. Another absolutely monster morning run. It is super hot out here. Tired legs, and put down another 14. Also, that might have been my longest run section of all time. I was just talking and talking and talking. But this is also my highest mileage week of all time. I have to preoccupy myself somehow. I hope it was valuable to somebody out there getting their long run. I know a lot of people listen to these Friday recovery run videos on their Saturday long run, so I hope it's been enjoyable for you. 8:18 pace, 139 heart rate. I mean, it doesn't really matter pace or heart rate on these. I think that was an hour and 55 minutes, something like that. That puts us at 114 miles on the week. That's Sunday to Friday. Just another monster week, man. And I've figured out if I could just hold on to these 8 flats, 8:15s, 8:20s for my recovery pace and keep stacking the miles, then I'm right where I need to be. And yesterday I put down a really good workout, man. Mile repeats on the treadmill. Legs are banged up. That was the other thing I was thinking about. My calves are super sore. And I was wearing a max stack shoe on the treadmill with the carbon plate and everything, so that's supposed to make it easier to run. But this is my theory, man. If you're pushing yourself as hard as you can or pushing yourself hard, you're going to get the benefits. So my goal was to build the strength and speed, and I can feel from today the DOMs in my lower legs that we did it. And then a 14-mile aerobic effort or recovery run like this is just going to help extend that race pace, man. If last Sunday I could go 3 or 4 by 3 miles at marathon pace, the way to think about it is, okay, boom, we knocked out another 120-mile week. That's 3 additional miles we could go at marathon pace. It doesn't work exactly like that, but just think about it in a simple way. Right? The more mileage we stack while holding on to a modicum of quality pace extends the amount of work we can do. So another good week of training. Man, slept on shoe for sure. It's just hard because at any given time, there's only a handful of shoes that people care about. This isn't one of them. It's like Primex Strong 3, for example. That drops. Everyone's obsessed about it. When's the last time you heard another shoe tuber mention the Primex Strong 3? And that only came out 6 weeks ago, and it's a solid shoe. Same thing with a shoe like this. If it doesn't pick up and take off and become a viral hit, it just gets forgotten about. But I don't have one bad thing to say about this shoe for this run. For a recovery effort, for a high mileage runner, man, it has the support in the back with the heel. It has a great geometry and roll. It's awesome for a relaxed landing on the back. And then it has really nice pep and pop up in the forefoot when you want to do some pace pickup. So overall, great shoe for high mileage training, man. And especially if the Sonicblast comes in and nobody buys this and Asics cuts the price to $120, $130, could be one of the best deals out there. What the heck? I'm telling you, man. I'm listening to the new Babyface Ray album, and on one of the songs, he says, I feel like Jeezy 05. And then on the outro, guess who he has on the outro? A clip from a Lil Wayne interview. So I'm telling you, man, the Wayne and Jeezy influence is up there. They're both up there with the Kanye, the Drake, and the Jay-Z in terms of my generation. All right, man. Asics Glideride Max, RIP. I'm going to keep this relatively brief. I have a meeting with the Supwell app developer soon, but yeah, as I was saying up there, I really have nothing bad to say about this shoe. I have really enjoyed it pretty much from the beginning, and I remember thinking back to the first run review when I was out in the Pisgah Forest. You can go Google or search the channel. Such a millennial thing to say, go Google my channel. Go search the channel, Glideride Max first run review. We're out in Pisgah Forest. I was taking it out. I had to drive down into town to find a flat place to run. But from the beginning, I was saying this is a weird shoe, but an enjoyable shoe. Where exactly does it sit? It fits
It feels like they combined a glider or a Magic Speed with a Nimbus. Feels like you combined a Speed 3 with a Max Cushion shoe. But with the past year of releases, man, we have seen the market sliced and diced even more, right? There's just so many new shoes that have come out. This is for short distance recovery runs. This is for long distance recovery runs. Vomero 18 versus Vomero Plus versus Pegasus Premium. Puma has the Mag Max, the Magnify Nitro, the Velocity Nitro 3. You have daily trainers with one certain type of foam that are for faster daily runs. You have daily trainers that are plates for longer runs. So the market is so mixed and muddled. I'm not complaining. It's good because there's a shoe out there for every run. But the past year, we've just seen an explosion of all different types of shoes. So this no longer, to me, feels like a confused shoe. This actually is a really nice, high mileage, relaxed run or recovery run shoe that's just been buried by the hype cycle and doesn't get enough pop. Similarly, the Magic Speed 4 was also a very solid speed training shoe that was buried from the hype cycle and buried from just not getting enough pop and having that viral takeoff. There's just a handful of shoes that will get it. Every month there's one or two that get added and then one or two that drop. This never had its moment. So that's more the issue with that. But in terms of the actual performance, I love this today. This was perfect. 14-mile run. Let's throw it up. Nice, relaxed effort. It wasn't easy by any means. It's hot. I'm tired. I'm in the middle of another 120-mile week. But that's exactly what this thing felt like it was designed to do. I've really tried to do a better job this entire year of not just randomly putting miles on shoes, but picking the shoes that are good for the runs I'm doing. Whereas last year I would have gotten the Vomero Plus, and I also would have tried my hardest to be the first and gotten it early, but I would have gotten the Vomero Plus and done something like a 100-mile week. No, I'm not going to run the Vomero Plus again today because that's not the type of shoe that I want this morning. I want something with a softer heel. I want something with a nice roll. I want something that takes the burden off my legs. So this is really good for that. And the difference between some of the other super max stack recovery shoes that I like for these runs, or just super max stack shoes and max cushion gang shoes that are good for recovery, is that this is so much lighter. This is 300 grams versus a lot of those guys 330, maybe even 340. The Aero Burst, another highly slept on shoe. I call that one the Ms. Boat, the most slept on banger of all time. This is not as slept on because it's an Asics, but right behind, really, in terms of just not getting praised at all, that's 338 grams though. This is 300 grams. So lightweight, good balance. The dual foam works really nicely. It works as it should. The bottom layer has some nice impact absorption. The top layer has good balance. It combines the elements of the Nimbus and the Novablast together. You got the bounce of the Novablast when you want it. You got the impact absorption, the comfort, and that slight stability of the Nimbus. And that was the other thing, especially on my right side. I was telling you yesterday, I could see on the treadmill as I was warming up in the Adios, my ankle was just going crazy, and the medial cutout on that shoe just felt like it was making me overpronate. And the more miles we run, the higher chance we are of having these weaknesses exposed. So today in this, I felt very stable and secure, but it doesn't feel too overbuilt. You have the nice plastic heel counter back here, but it doesn't have that tiny elves feeling like it's locking me down too much. So in terms of a high mileage training shoe or a nice soft max cushion shoe, say that 5 times fast. Soft max cushion shoe, soft max, I guess it's not that hard. But in terms of what this is trying to deliver, it does a really nice job, man. You have the comfort and the support, you have the pep and the pop, you have the great geometry, nice padding. I'll say the upper, that's maybe the weakest part of the shoe, not the actual material itself or anything. It's fine, very similar to the Nimbus, but just the fit. It is on the snugger side, and it's weird because Asics typically has higher volume fits, at least in the Nimbus, the Novablast, and the Superblast. They all fit decently roomy for me. Magic Speed is, man, that's horrible. That's a weird fit. And then same thing with the race shoes. This is more in between. I would say closer to the last of the Magic Speed. Just feels slightly narrower. Now, as we got into that run, it wasn't bothering me at all. It didn't feel too constraining. It also doesn't feel like it's hot or heating up or anything. So overall, just a solid shoe for today. I'll put in that solid to pretty good category. If you're looking for a softer
max cushion recovery shoe with a moderate drop that takes the burden off your legs, easy to run, with some potential to pick up the pace. That is the Glideride Max. So it is odd to me that this didn't get more pop because it has a lot of elements that make it a good shoe. I think it's just the positioning that Asics had with it. Also, the older Glideride, I know some people like that, but even in the shoe sicko community, that wasn't a shoe that had a lot of name recognition and a lot of pop. It was more of a niche shoe, so they used a niche shoe as the base name for it, and then they added the Max. They already had the Nimbus, Superblast, and Novablast, so just muddled and confused. It was lost, but if you could find a good deal on this or you see one on the Supple app, I would give it a chance. I would. Now, who's not going to like this? If you don't like max cushion shoes, it just goes without saying. If you don't like max cushion shoes, you're not going to like this. If you don't like a softer feel, now, it's one of those things that is it's not subjective because a foam is objectively how soft or firm it is. It's not differing. Now, there's, of course, slight variations, especially in something like a Light Strike Pro. There might literally be manufacturing variations, but assuming that there are no manufacturing variations, there's no objective differences between the actual foam compound. But it might be experienced differently between people based on your foot strike, your weight, your height, your cadence, also your mileage. This is something new. And my friend Maya, who recommended that I take the shoe out, she wrote in a comment that maybe high mileage runners experience shoes differently. And that got me thinking, and I've thought about this too, right? On my relaxed runs, I have adopted this form just subconsciously that is just preservation. It's survival. It's not even intentional. It's just our body's way of knowing, hey, when we get out there, we need to be as efficient as possible because we know we're gonna have to run 100 miles, 120 miles this week. So when I come out here for a recovery run, my body is intentionally trying to put down as little force as possible. And I also don't have the same elasticity and pop in my muscles and tendons on a recovery run today as someone who might be running 30 miles a week or 15 miles a week. So if you're running 3 or 4 days a week and you're taking 1 day off between each run, 1 or 2 days off, and you're running 30 to 40 minutes, your legs are gonna have more natural snap and pop. So you might experience a shoe like this differently than me. For me, this is almost adding the elasticity, the pop, the bounce that I might not have in my tendons, in my muscles on a tired leg day like this. So that's why I really like it as a high mileage runner. It's giving me a lot of that support, making it easier for me to hit these miles, and it 100% has that quality I was talking about earlier this week with the Neo Vista, the Mag Max, the Glycerin Max, the Aero Glide, and the Aero Burst. I'll put this up in that category where on tired legs, it's helping me fight back. Again, 14 miles. It's not like I was barn burning going at a 550 pace or anything, but just a nice relaxed pace, a nice gentle pace out here, being able to hit the time on feet, not stopping at 10 miles. We have to almost have this trick of lying to ourselves. I was saying to this yesterday. Every day I come out here saying I'm gonna hit 10 to 12 miles. And some days I do, but other days I'll push to 14. So we set the bar low, and then what's the Drake line? Set the bar low, go under it like a limbo. No, we set the bar low, and then we smash it. All right, that's pretty much all I have. I'm hitting my time. But yeah, what I was saying is this shoe helps me hit those longer distances. I didn't feel like I wanted to get it off my foot completely at 8 miles or at 10 miles, which is how I experience a lot of the more standard shoes, like a Cumulus or even a Vomero 18. So it has that fun quality to it. It has the bounce, it has the comfort. There's not a lot wrong with it. If you're looking for a max cushion recovery shoe, this is one that should be in the mix to you. It also doesn't feel as weird and tall as some of the other ones, so that's something going for it. For example, Mag Max, Neo Vista, Glycerin Max, they all feel like very big shoes. Because of the lightweight on this, it feels slightly more streamlined. So if you're, I think, more sensitive to weight, you might like this, but it still is a max cushion shoe. All right, that is all I have for you today. I appreciate you. We're out here grinding. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. I'm late. Oh man, he just texted me that he wants to meet later this afternoon. So all that rush was for nothing.
Dude, I'm really scared to open this package. Ricardo. Bro, I never heard of a Ricardo in my life. Alright, man. I love you to my family. Dude, I'm super scared. It's a birthday present from my mom. That scared the heck out of me. She did tell me it was coming today, but talking about Ricardo on here. Thank you, Mom. I love you. I really thought, man, my life was flashing before my eyes. A little bonus action here. Getting the Refuel right now. So this is the black and white coffee. It's fire. It's fire. I needed some more sips of it, some more cups to fully say it's a banger. But I can now say it's a banger. It's not a top 5 coffee of the year, but it's a banger. Very solid, easy drinker, crowd pleaser type of coffee here. The Benjamin Paz, natural process from Honduras. And then for the lunch, keeping it simple today, I'm going bagel sandwiches on the Refuel. These are the family dough bagels. These are the last 2. I was that guy today. But I think when you're that guy and you're also the one who buys all the food, it's okay if you finish the bagels. So finishing the bagels with these sandwiches. These are poppy seed bagels. Super good. And then I'll just put some spinach on top here and do some homemade honey mustard. I'm just going to run back the lunch from yesterday. That's what I've been doing recently. If I have something that sticks, that works, I just know it works for me. I don't mess with it. So we'll do that, and then I'll get some electrolytes going. And my afternoon and evening is actually not looking too bad today. So I might see if I can get out there for a longer run this afternoon. Just accumulate more mileage, because that's the entire goal right now. Boom. So these are the electrolytes I've been using. I showed them the other week. I also have the Larry June water bottle here. They're Relay. It's from the same people that do the Redmond's salt. This is not sponsored or anything, by the way. I bought this off Amazon with my own money. Nobody wants to sponsor me anyway, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm out here saying reckless stuff. They're not going to sponsor me. But it's really good. It's grown on me. At first, I thought it was slightly too sweet, but now I've really come to like the flavor. Solid ingredients. I don't know. All these things are... my theory is that they're basically roughly the same. This is roughly the same as Element or Noon or whatever, and I'm not entirely convinced that it's going to make or break and make a huge difference. There's all the theory about salt absorption helps you in the summertime and just drinking plain water doesn't do it. And I'm sure that's true to an extent, but for me, it's just having something different than water. And I actually really like plain water, but just having an additional thing just makes me stay on top of the hydration in general. So it's one of those things that can't hurt. And I think this is also the only thing classified as a supplement that I take. I don't do protein. I don't do creatine. I don't do anything else, just food and throw in some electrolytes when I need them. And then boom. These are the Big Daddy sandwiches right here. Got to get that homemade honey mustard action going. Bang, this is just the Dijon mustard from Aldi with some honey. And honey is technically not vegan. I know people love saying that. You're not technically a vegan because you eat honey. Yeah, no, I'm not, I guess. I mean, that's good. That's some good calories. And I've had this meal so many times, man, that I just know it works for me. And I don't have to worry about stomach issues or whatever. It's good to just have convenient, reliable meals that you can count on when you're doing high mileage training. So boom, there we go. Nothing special, nothing to it but to do it, baby. Refuel. Let's go, baby. Run number 2. I'm fired up, man. I'm fired up. This entire week, I'm just getting after it. And I hope this has inspired you to get after it too, man, because I'm just pushing myself. Just seeing what I'm capable of, man. I thought I was done filming earlier, but I want to document the savagery of the mileage and continue this video because we're just stacking mileage and it's fun to take you along. So I'm going to do my afternoon run in this thing as well. I also thought it would be good to close it out with some more mileage in this. This is probably the last time I'm going to run in this, at least for a while. So why don't we do a real high mileage day? We got 14 in the morning. So we'll get this bad boy up to high teens or low 20s on the day. Grinding, bro. Grinding. If you needed something to put a battery in your back, let this be it. If you're not getting mileage after this, I don't know what to tell you. Let's go. I'm fired up, baby. Let's go. Beast mode. Beast mode. Beast mode. Say beast mode in the mirror 3 times. Make the mileage appear. Absolute savagery right there, man. A lot of people think BQ stands for Boston qualifying time. No. It's beast quotient. 8 miles, 7:55 pace, 1 hour, 5 minutes, 25 seconds. Average heart rate, 147. It's about 90 out here again. Heart rate's getting up. Effort level's getting up. The volume is cranked all the way high. And I'm just hanging on, man. I probably sound like a broken record or it's like Groundhog Day out here because I'm saying the same thing over and over this week. But that's just the program this week. Stack the mileage, hang on. And that was actually one of my strongest runs. I haven't taken a day below, I think 18 miles is my lowest day. Other than last Saturday in the past 2 weeks. And I'm just continually able to stack these 8 flat miles. That's all we need. And I was actually clipping off some 740s there. So, man, we got to give these shoes their flowers while they're still here. I know Asics is probably killing this thing off, the Glideride Max, but this is a legend. It needs to be in that conversation for maybe not top 5, but top 7 max cushion shoes in terms of having that ability to fight back, the comfort, the support, the stability, the nice ride. Man, the roll through with the smooth rocker and everything is really the total package, and it's just a shoe that gets completely buried. But I do know there are a few people, man, in the Supwell community who absolutely love this thing. My guy Fuel Up, he's always one of the first commenters on every video. He put a lot of miles in this thing. There are a few other people who put a lot of miles in this thing. It really deserves to be up there. That was my second or third 20-plus mile day in this. That was 22 miles total today. I don't put these 20-mile days on bad shoes. If it were a bad shoe, I would have just ended the video when I initially said I was going to end the video. And I said I'll be back tomorrow. But no, I wanted to give this some more miles to really give it its flowers while it's still here. Because this is one of those top high mileage shoes right now, and it's not going to be for everyone because it is max stack. I could see how somebody who doesn't like a lot of foam might find it mushy, but I really have no complaints, man. 22 great miles in this thing. Just comfortable, supportive, stable. It's not bottoming out for me, and I was feeling better at the end of that run there and towards the end of those 22 miles than the beginning. So Absolutely underrated banger, man. Another one like the Aero Burst that just does not get enough love. I think that's really all I have now. We're just grinding, man. I really hope this video connected with somebody out there who's trying to get after it and grind, because I was thinking about that on this run, man. That is really, for me, all there is to it right now, just willing myself every morning to get out here and go. And I don't want to sound like I'm preaching too much, but at the same time, we have to be our own biggest cheerleaders. And everything in life is a choice. We can choose to be positive and hype ourselves up, or we could choose to be negative. And it's a lot harder some days to choose to be positive. And I mean, you all who watch the videos every day have seen sometimes I get thrown off my vibe by focusing too much on negative comments or what people are saying or feeling underrated. But this week I'm just choosing to get after it and to tap into what I know is my biggest strength, which is just consistently going. So I hope this connected with somebody else out there who's consistently going. And I know there's a lot of people who watch every day, who are rocking with it, who watch on their night shift, who watch when they wake up with their coffee, who are just getting after it. So I appreciate you all. We are en route to that sub 230. And I want everyone to remember this right here, because this is the work that it takes. This is another 122 miles in 6 days. That is nothing to sneeze at right there. And Saturday is just my down day to be off with the family. So we're going to close it out probably around 123 or 124, 125 if I go run tomorrow. I guess, no, 4 or 5 would be 126 or 127. I have that high mileage brain. And if I don't run tomorrow, we'll close it out at 122. There's no pressure for me to run because I have the mileage that I need. But this is what it takes, man. The consistent mileage, the progression over time. And then we just come and slam race pace when we're ready. All right. I'm too fired up right now. This is another good week of training. Let's go. If you're not getting mileage right now, I don't know what to tell you. Let's go. Let's go, man. Let's go. I feel like Tom Brady just yelling, let's go, let's go.